Yo, and people need to start learning what words mean, because the latest widespread example of linguistic malfeasance circles around what is referred to as the U.S. debt ceiling. You see what I did there? Linguistic malfeasance, also known as word manipulation, also known as lying. Linguistic malfeasance, word manipulation, you see what I did there? I just found a creative way to tell you that I'm lying using colorful language that'll throw you off the scent. They say debt ceiling, but what they mean is running out of money. The U.S. debt ceiling is an ever-increasing, arbitrarily set number that says how much money the United States is willing to borrow or is able to borrow from the Treasury to pay its debts. If the U.S. was an individual and they wanted you to understand what they're talking about, they would just call it a credit limit. The United States government, aka the taxpayers, yes, you, the people, the government's not in debt. You are, we are, again, linguistic malfeasance. We, the citizens of the United States, the taxpayers, are $33 trillion in debt. Oh yeah, and just so you know, that number has been ever increasing since the day you were alive. The debt ceiling is a number that they set sometimes 8 months, 10 months, a year and a half in advance, that says we can't continue borrowing money if we reach this amount of debt. Our credit limit is X. Yet every time this limit is reached, they find new ways to justify raising it. And what raising it means is borrowing more money. What it really means is printing more money. When the debt ceiling is raised, it means we are borrowing more money, most of the time from the Treasury, and the Treasury is just printing that money out of thin air. So when we increase how much we borrow from them while we're already in a tremendous amount of debt, they create money out of thin air, thus devaluing all of the existing money in supply. That's what inflation is, an increase in the money supply with the same amount of goods and services. The debt ceiling goes up, means the credit limit's gone up, means more money gets printed into existence, means more inflation for you, which means the silent tax that you don't understand because of linguistic malfeasance is happening every time they raise the debt ceiling. And what's funny, Slow Byron and Janet Yellen and all of these demons that are bankrupting you right to your face and doing it with a nice soft voice and an 8,000-year-old body. Oh, well, I don't know. It's transitory. Linguistic malfeasance. They say things like, oh, if we don't raise the debt ceiling, the U.S. will run out of money. No, we already ran out of money. That's why we're in debt. Then they say things like, the United States always pays its bills. We always pay our bills. If you don't raise the debt ceiling, then we won't pay our bills for the first time ever. No, we never pay our bills. We don't pay our bills. That's why we're in debt. When we accumulate a bunch of expenses, when we accumulate a bunch of debt, we just borrow more. We don't pay our bills. We ask other people to pay our bills and we'll pay you later. And then we extract that money from the taxpayer in the form of printing money and causing more inflation. We don't pay our bills. Both the R's and the D's and the R's spend recklessly and squander all of our money, needlessly creating and accumulating more debt for us and future generations. And then they get their lackey frontman demons to go on TV and say the debt ceiling doesn't matter. You know what happens when an individual reaches their credit limit and they can't borrow any more money? I don't know. They get their assets seized. What assets does America have? Land, natural resources, bridges, tunnels, property, waterways, licenses to conduct business on our land and charge money to our people. The entire world is watching us accumulate untenable debt, unpayable debt, while also using our temporary status as the world's reserve currency as a billy club to cajole other countries into doing our bidding. Linguistic malfeasance, word and emotional manipulation is the method by which nefarious actors cloak their behavior, convincing you to destroy yourself. We're out of credit. Credit card don't work no more. Yeah. Everybody is just sitting here on the sidelines while our nation, aka the representative of all of us, is entering into a debt spiral. A debt spiral is when no matter how many times you continue to pay your debts down, you keep going further into debt. This is caused by high interest rates on large sums of money accumulated and pushed over from month to month over time. As we continue to accumulate this outrageous amount of debt, the interest payments on the debt we have outstanding is starting to exceed the cost of some large federal programs. Look here, you meatbag. Interest costs currently represent about 8% of total federal outlays in 2022. 8% of all the money we spend is on interest on the debt that we carry. And it's predicted by 2033 that it will rise to 14% of all of the money that we spend will go to paying interest on the existing debt, exceeding the cost of Medicaid and a lot of other major federal programs. Which means that we could be paying more money to interest on our debt than we pay for defense for the entire nation. And people are just here like, yeah, debt ceiling doesn't matter, just spend that money. You're clueless, friends. Word manipulation at the highest levels. They don't want you to know the truth. But people clap for the D's and they clap for the R's, and they're both bankrupting us and future generations.